Hi, I'm Mark with Real Items. Let's talk about why we're in this business. It's because blockchain, in our assessment, is the strongest career investment that can be made at this time. Here's why we and tens of thousands of others who have purposefully directed their careers into this space feel this way. Many believe blockchain is one of the most important inventions in human history, right alongside electricity, the printing press, and the internet itself. You already know some basic properties of blockchain that the information stored there is prohibitively difficult to corrupt, which is usually described as immutability. It's what makes our business possible. And since blockchain doesn't rely on trusted third parties, it's censorship resistant. S- But so what? These just sound like improvements in information security tech. They aren't just that. There's a big difference between very much improved security and immutability. As well, censorship resistance is a new technological human achievement. Think about it. Censorship resistance has never been done before in a way such that there is no known way to defeat it. Uh, what you may be starting to see is that it's not the technology itself, it's the implications of it. Dan Tapiero of Real Vision Finance calls blockchain a new ordering principle for humanity. Others say blockchain will profoundly affect how we go about all organized human activity. The use cases and the things blockchain has been discovered to be able to fix are endless at this point, if you've been following along these past few years. Here's just one example, although it's a pretty big one. In recent modern history, we've developed systems to speed up how we communicate and how we conduct commerce on an individual level as well as on a national and global scale. The efficiency increases have been so great that they've allowed us to do things that simply weren't possible before. And most of these things are quality of life improvements and have even paved the way to lift many out of poverty. But this development has turned out to be a double edged sword. In the same way that we can instantaneously put forth ideas, execute agreements, and assert our interests using these systems, those freedoms can also be instantaneously shut off, not just for individuals, but for everyone. When blockchain versions of these systems by which we go about our everyday lives, as well as by which we plan for our futures and protect our interests, are adopted, and they already are seeing use in many ways, as you may be aware, all of these systems we've built to serve us will no longer be able to be used against us. That was actually the original purpose of blockchain. It happens to be that the benefits to business when implementing blockchain, particularly in supply chains, will likely give rise to a market for this technology to solve long-standing problems that's probably bigger than we can imagine. We predict that we're going to see around 15 years of extremely profitable opportunities to bring this technology to market. Many others share this prediction and refer to this event as mass adoption. The opportunities for companies like ours, as well as for the talent resources that serve these kinds of companies, will probably be huge. Let's take a look at something that's happening in the market which gives us a pretty good indication of just how badly our tech is needed. Okay, so let's take a look at this article here. You should know that Amazon has a serious problem with counterfeit products, and it's all because of something called commingled inventory. And so this talks about how uh, that these days, even small low ticket items like batteries, shampoo, and guitar strings are showing up. Counterfeits for these products are showing up on Amazon. It's just become completely rampant. And this person describes how it is that you actually can't there's no way to differentiate nowadays between authentic products and counterfeit ones on Amazon because of this practice that apparently they have to employ, this practice called commingling inventory, whereby what they're doing is, let's say there's a brand that's selling its products through Amazon fulfillment, which is, of course, is this process where you store your goods in Amazon regional warehouses, and Amazon provides fulfillment. So brands are providing are selling direct through Amazon by warehousing their goods there, and then third-party sellers, some of whom may be offering, who may be dealing in counterfeit versions of that brand's same product, are also selling through Amazon. And there's a couple of factors that lead to this rampant problem. So at Amazon's warehouses, both the brand's legitimate, authentic goods are placed in a bin, and also the third-party seller's goods are also commingled in that same bin. And the determination of what goes into a bin is the SKU. And unless it's a different SKU, it will be commingled. So there is no separation in any event where based on the selling party. If the SKU is the same, as it says here, same SKU, they treats all items with the same SKU as identical. If the SKU is the same, they all get commingled in one bin. And then the second piece of the story is that Amazon only allows one item listing per item or per SKU. So you aren't able, as a brand, to create a product listing that is specific and exclusive to the inventory that your brand is selling through Amazon. Other sellers, third-party sellers, uh, cannot are allowed to use that same listing. Amazon only allows one listing. So as I said originally, there's no way to differentiate between brands, products that they're selling directly and third-party sellers that are selling through Amazon. And this creates essentially an open season or a completely freely available, a free opportunity to provide uh, counterfeit goods through Amazon. And it's completely on fire at this point. And if you take a look at this, and it's for the most seemingly not innocuous, but it's just for every kind of uh, low cost, everyday kinds of items. And this person mentions shampoo, um, like razor heads, replacement razor heads for an electric razor that you shave with. Those are counterfeit. Just it's gotten to the point where it's everything. So, if you take a look at this article's impressions, this is a 3-day old article. It's gotten 84,000 impressions and 3,200 comments. And if you scroll through the window froze there for a second, probably because I'm recording video. If you scroll through the comments, and I've got a hyper scroll, I got a Logitech MX MX Master S mouse with the hyper scroll wheel, and if you scroll down, it's a lot of comments. It's a lot of comments, and there's 1,000 more. And the system that Amazon has set up to combat this problem, this is totally hilarious to me. They've set up something like if you read through the comments, you get a detailed description, and this just goes on forever. There are some very knowledgeable people who are likely Amazon sellers and have intimate knowledge of Amazon's internal practices. And what Amazon has set up is essentially something like a trust and safety team, the likes of which YouTube and Twitter have employed. If you aren't aware, YouTube, for example, has a trust and safety team that they use to police politically incorrect speech on their platform. And this team is an army of 1,000 agents who, with assistance from an AI powered algorithm, are, uh, are tasked with reviewing content. Now, these kinds of legacy systems to perform, well, in the case of social media, to perform social engineering on our population, or in the case of quality assurance, well, they have had their place and they have had their day. Uh, if you go through here and you read the details about how Amazon's agents are tasked with reviewing the and ascertaining the authenticity of the various sellers' goods. Well, it's quite an error-prone process and activity, and the failure rate or something the false positives that occur are laughably high as well. These kinds of systems can be gamed by nefarious or by bad actors. So just like on social media, when you have a system whereby users can report other users, bad actors take advantage of the opportunity to provide false reports to the trust and safety team to try to take down their competitors. The same thing is going on at Amazon. The counterfeiters get this is just unbelievable. The counterfeiters are filing false reports of counterfeiting uh, activity against the legitimate brand names. So these legacy systems perform poorly. They're vulnerable to abuse and they're expensive. So that post mentions how even low ticket items like toothpaste are getting copied these days. And the problem has actually spread outside of China. China has historically had a counterfeiting business culture that, as you may be aware, comes from a Confucian idea that assets and resources should be to the benefit of all people. So nobody should have the exclusive right to profit from a discovery or investment in perpetuity. That's why copywriting and patent law isn't a big part of their business culture, and counterfeiting is. And now the entire world has been converted. In the same way that the United States exported the idea of free market capitalism to the world, resulting in places like Hong Kong and Taiwan generating massive wealth in the 80s and 90s, and really most of the world thereafter prospering immensely, China has exported counterfeiting business culture. We're now seeing counterfeit Italian olive oil coming out of Italy, counterfeit Indian tea coming out of India. Counterfeiting has gone global, and no product category or brand is safe. What are the implications of a scenario in which some ridiculous percentage of consumer goods cannot be trusted or even ascertained to be authentic or not? It's hard to fathom, but luckily, blockchain solves this problem, and the software solution we've built to leverage that technology is implemented easily and affordably.